So thanks everybody for watching. Today we have Erin from Chanticleer Gardens, or Pleasure Garden, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her experience of working with Ave on their recent pretty large website build. So Erin, if you can just introduce yourself.
Great. Hi, I'm Erin Doherty. I'm Public Programs Manager at Chanticleer, and I oversee our visitor experience, education, and marketing. So all of my area really intersects with our website. Chanticleer is a 50-acre public garden located west of Philadelphia, and we welcome over 70,000 visitors every year. So our website is our main tool for helping people plan their visit, learn more about our mission since we are a nonprofit, find ways to give and buy memberships, and transact with us prior to coming. So that's the garden.
Awesome. Thank you. And I know that you guys had a pretty big website before you came to us, right, Erin? But how's that website working for you, and what other things did you try that weren't really getting you to where you wanted to be on the digital side of your business?
Yeah, so the website that we were previously using was designed in the early 2000s, so it was very dated. There was one person who managed the site, and it was managed on Dreamweaver and was not conducive to having, for example, that was not me. So every time I needed to make a change, I was going through our facilities manager. So switching over to the WordPress platform has made a huge improvement there. We also, every time we needed to add something new on that old site, we ended up adding more and more pages and it just wasn't functioning well. So we were experiencing, it was small font. It was visually not engaging. It did not represent the kind of high quality horticulture visual experience that someone has while they're here. And people were remarking on that. They were saying, your website is not in alignment with what I experience when I'm here as a visitor. And so before working with Ave, we definitely struggled to convey ourselves we have a lot of assets when it comes to digital photography and video, and the old site would compress those and make them really small. And now with this new site, it's just very immersive.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so it sounds like the two things that Chanticleer was struggling with beforehand were that the garden or the website really didn't align with the experience people would have in the garden. So then you're representing yourself digitally different than the in-person experience, but then also that the strategy was lacking because every time something new had to be added to the website, it was just a new page, a new page, a new page. So then that compounds and it's a lack of strategy over time.
Yeah, and we also had like a non-functioning sidebar, and things were not laid out intuitively following kind of the new norm with websites and the menu and the footer. And so we were struggling to communicate really important visitor touch points and interactions, so the new website resolved that significantly.
Awesome. And your website build was a larger project. We went through for a few months, really built out a robust site, but also a site with a lot of interactive features. How did you feel the process of working with the Ave team was for you and your team?
Yeah, I appreciated, this was the first website redesign project that I've been part of. So I appreciated being guided through with sort of a no BS kind of, I didn't feel like we were ever getting a sales pitch or getting more than what we needed from, yes, we wanted certain features to be interactive. Examples are what's in bloom, that we have this back catalog of imagery that's actually really important in telling the story of how things have bloomed over time. People can plan their visit around that, and then an interactive map. And so there was functionality that had to be sort of custom designed for our website. But I also appreciated that we were using a design and a template that was already thoughtfully laid out and matched our organizational goals and our mission and sort of what we're trying to communicate on the website. So my experience with Ave was you guided us to sort of the correct theme, the correct solutions, and then because we had a short timeline for when we wanted this delivered by, we also, we could kind of parse out and say, okay, this is a project that we're going to revisit in phase 2. And you helped us to kind of understand how that would play out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what we found that since websites really grow with a business, it's good to know that you have a website partner there, that things are, of course, going to grow and develop over time. And, you guys were taught now how to manage everything on the back end of the site, but to know that you're not just done and not knowing what to do afterwards, like you were with the Dreamweaver site.
We've had like really great partnership from you, and you're ready and willing to work on those phase 2 options when we are. So I feel like ball's back in our court. But yeah, overall, like the repackaging of our website, I really felt that you, especially Jill, led the kind of creative process in a way that was sensitive to what our visual, because we're very aesthetically driven at our garden and our organization, and when we were speaking with other website firms, they were really leading us down a path that we weren't sure if we would visually, on the other end, if we were going to look the way we wanted to. So it's a big leap of faith, this kind of interaction, this relationship. But I felt like, you gave us, I think it was 3 options, and of the 3, one of them was just really clear.
Well, yeah, I'm happy that you felt like that, because it's so, to me, important for Chanticleer. It's a visual place. So of course the digital side needs to be just as beautiful.
Yeah.
So your website's been up for a few months now. What kind of results have you seen since it launched?
So the announcer bar section and the rotation of hours for the day, like every day that we're open, it says what the hours are. That has been really helpful information. We've seen an uptick in just how people communicate with us. For example, they're choosing the right bucket for whether that be a phone call, an online form, or an email to us, so we can then resolve what those questions are with greater ease and with more process on the back end. And just, we've talked about it, but I think a big thing for us, because one of our 3 kind of missions, we have like a 3-pronged mission, and one of them is to talk about our history. And this website has a whole section on history, which involves archival photos and narrative, and even you can page through like an archival piece. So that for us helps us accomplish mission, and that was really big, as well as just people are noting that the imagery that our staff take to help represent the garden and give people a sense of what we're about and what we do, you're like drenched in it when you're in the website. So you're getting that, and it's very fresh. Those images are very current. When we had people auditing the website before we went live, that was important to us, making sure we weren't showing images that were too dated of our site. And so we've just had, sort of on all fronts, a big refresh. We have seen, and this will be important, we're a nonprofit, and of course, increasing membership sales, donations. We're definitely seeing a trend towards a greater ease in making that transaction happen. So they're finding the call to action. They're reading about our mission and our donation, why donating makes, why they should donate to Chanticleer. So all of that is, it's only been a few months, so let's give it some more time. But, we're definitely seeing some trends upwards in terms of our income and revenue.
Oh, that's so good. And I know you mentioned before too, that even some of the classes and the events have seen a bit of an uptick as well, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's been tremendous. And we've sold out 4 of the last 7 programs we've held. And I feel like, social, part of it is, there's a lot playing into that, but the ability to convey what our upcoming events are is so much more functional and visually like apparent to people now.
So just like ease, no friction. This is what it is. Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
Awesome. And so just last question, for any business owners who are thinking about possibly working with Aave on their website, what would you tell them?
That it is a lean, mean team that will really guide you through the process, and kind of help you distill what you need. For us, we generally knew what we wanted in the outcome, but we didn't know how to get there. And so you all were the experts in designing that site, making sure it was functional. I'm also loving the support that comes afterwards. So the particular package that we're in feels right for our organizational needs. But it's great that you offer even more, you offer like tiered options there for SEO and but for us, like knowing that there's someone who we can say, hey, this is looking a little funny on this browser or this particular, it's just been very reassuring. And so, yeah, I mean, I loved the whole process. It actually re-energized me. I've worked at Chanticleer for 13 years. I've wanted this new website to come to life for at least the last 6 years. And I was so motivated and energized and loved working with your team. And I was like staying up late at night, like review. I was doing
awesome.
things I hadn't done in a long time to like see this come to life. So for me, I'm like, all right, what's the next project that's gonna help kind of shape the future of our organization? So
yeah, it's good to have some excitement in work, and it was such a great project. And I think it's interesting, Erin, that you touched on the support too, because your team, since you have a larger team, you guys ended up doing more of our DIY support, where we show you how to make all the content updates on, you have a rather large website, but still it's not very intimidating or too hard to figure out. And you can always get the support you need so that your team can keep it updated. You don't have to have this ongoing retainer with an agency. But like you mentioned, then there's also the done for you support if you ever don't want to do that in-house, or then even the marketing support if you're looking to get traffic too.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that being incredible for us too, because we don't have a full, marketing program, but that'll be like a next step. I gotta
right.
get that one in the budget. So progress. So
well, thanks so much, Erin. Thanks everybody for watching. And that was Erin of Chanticleer. And yeah, have a good one.
Come and visit. Okay.
Come and visit, exactly.
Okay, bye-bye.